AYANEO is set to launch the Pocket Air next month, and I honestly think this thing is going to become the new Android champion. Let's take a closer look at the AYANEO Pocket Air. This is my first impressions view of everything that we know about it so far, and why I think you should definitely grab one if you've been waiting for a powerful Android handheld. This thing is set to check a lot of boxes for a lot of people, and I think you're going to be pretty impressed with what it can do. Let's take a closer look at everything we know about the new AYANEO Pocket Air. The Dimensity 1200 is going to be the SOC powering the new Pocket Air. This thing is an absolute beast of an SOC. It's based on 6nm architecture. It has one core that can reach 3 GHz, 3 super cores that can reach 2.6. It also has 4 efficiency cores that can boost to 2 GHz. In terms of the closest Snapdragon SoC comparison, the Snapdragon 870 is nearly on par with the Dimensity 1200. As far as CPU scores go, I would almost say this is just within margin of error. These things are almost the same. If we're looking at GPU performance, the Vulkan benchmark on the Snapdragon 870 in 3D Mark is basically within margin of error, again within 2% performance difference. This is a remarkable score. As far as Snapdragon 870 goes, I've used the Poco F3 for years, and I have been absolutely astounded by the level of performance this chip offers. If this is the sort of performance that we're going to be getting in the Dimensity 1200, I think people are going to be really impressed with it. As far as real-world gaming scores go, the Snapdragon 870 is going to be just a little bit better in some games, just because the drivers are better in some regard. I think a big reason as to why the Snapdragon 870 is getting some better benchmarks and some better performance in games is the raw performance of the GPU itself. This is measured in flops, and as you can see, the Dimensity 1200 is sitting at 980 gigaflops. That's still extremely impressive. The Snapdragon 870, however, sits at just over 1300 gigaflops, which is a nice jump. Aside from running Android, the new Pocket Air has a front end on it we've never seen before, and it looks pretty impressive. The new front end here that they're including on this device has some pretty impressive stuff on it. We have a turbo boost mode that we can enable here at the top, I believe. We also have some fan modes here. We have a refresh rate lock, so it looks like the new screen will go up to 120 Hz. That's really impressive. The top option here says that the performance mode can boost your performance of up to 30%, and you can toggle that on or off. The different fan modes we have here are automatic, mute, and extreme speed. Then of course at the bottom we have the refresh rate lock, which can be set to automatic, 60 or 120 Hz. Overall, it looks to be a pretty good front end here. We have a highlights category, a game library, screenshots, settings, and then of course our account that we can set up. Arthur from AYANEO has also shared a couple screenshots and photos of the front end, and overall it doesn't look too bad. I think they've done a pretty good job. I think it's going to need some updates eventually, but for now it looks pretty impressive. Because of the new front end, it also looks like we have built-in scraping, which is really handy. Automatic scraping is a huge feature to have, and I think this is going to be absolutely essential on Android handhelds moving forward. This means when you drag a game over to your device, it'll automatically pick it up and add it to your game front end. Your front end is basically your launcher for all your games, so you can boot right into it from there. Aside from the OS and the SoC, we also have a really thin design, a cooling system that's actually designed for x86 handhelds, a beautiful 5.5-inch AMOLED panel. We also have a huge 7350 mAh battery, some different rumble modes, and Hall sticks and Hall triggers. Gulikit has been making Hall sticks for quite a while now, and the ones they made for the Joy-Cons on the Nintendo Switch are very similar to the ones that you're going to see in the Pocket Air. For now, we only have one confirmed color, and that's this retro edition. Arthur Zhang confirmed this morning over Discord that a regular rocker cap color will be given as a free gift at the purchase of any Pocket Air. He also shared this morning that there'll be two different storage configurations. The first one has 6 gigs of RAM with 128 gigs of storage, and the expanded one has 8 gigs of RAM with 256 gigs of storage. Overall, I'm really liking this color. I absolutely love the red with the white, but these joystick caps gotta go. I'm definitely gonna swap my joystick caps away to something else completely different, probably black. I think black will look really good with the red. These joystick caps, yeah, I don't like them. I get why he went for the color of the caps, just for like a more retro feel, but I don't think it looks very nice. I definitely won't be using those. As far as the console color goes overall, yeah, I like it. It's really nice, and I like the white and the red. I think that looks really good together. We've gone back to the more traditional size AYANEO Air on this device, so it's really thin, and the cooling has enough ventilation at the top. I don't think this thing's gonna have any overheating issues. We also have that LED around the joysticks, and I think that looks pretty good. Continuing with that full retro vibe, I imagine that the D-pad and the face buttons will all be rubber membrane based, just like the other AYANEO devices. As far as competition goes in this market, the only other competition right now is from the Odin, and that starts at around $239. If you look at the performance of the Odin versus the Dimensity 1200, the Dimensity 1200 overall is about 70% faster. That's a pretty big jump. CPU-wise, the Dimensity 1200 is up to 96% faster than the Snapdragon 845. The Snapdragon 845 is definitely starting to show its age compared to modern processors. When we start looking at GPU performance though, that's where things get a little interesting. If you're looking at raw Vulkan performance, the Dimensity 1200 is up to 200% faster than the Snapdragon 845. Now, while that's not going to exactly compare one-to-one in every situation, you can see the GPU performance on the 1200 is way better. Gaming benchmarks also confirm this. Obviously, it's not a one-to-one performance jump because not every single game is going to show that, but you can see Shadowgun Legends here is going to show a pretty big jump. World of Tanks also shows a pretty big jump, but then a lot of these other games are just kind of maxing out at the settings already, so you're not going to really take notice of that extra GPU performance. Aside from the Odin at $239, the only other handhelds that we have in this market that are even remotely close to that is the GPD XP Plus. This has the same Dimensity 1200 processor, the same storage configuration and RAM configuration. As far as price goes, the GPD XP Plus comes in at $360 US. Now, having the same specs nearly as the Pocket Air, if AYANEO can hit this price of $360 US and under, I think he's going to get a lot of sales. AYANEO has told us that this will start shipping next month to international customers. I'm assuming that the IGG will actually start next month and the shipping will kind of be the month after. He definitely seems to have some of these already in inventory, so hopefully he'll have a decent stockpile when he's ready to ship. The AYANEO Pocket Air, either way, looks to be one of the most anticipated handhelds of the year. I'm really excited to get my hands on one, provided the price is okay, as I'm really excited to take a look at this thing. As far as handhelds this year go, in my opinion, this is definitely probably the strongest offering that we've seen from a company so far. We're getting that really nice screen, we're getting good cooling, a nice design, Hall joysticks, Hall triggers, a big battery, integrated front end. We're literally checking all the boxes that we want on a handheld. I think a big thing for a lot of people is going to be that panel and the price. If Arthur and AYANEO can hit that magical price, they are going to make a lot of sales. There is not many high-end Android handhelds right now. This is one of the highest end Android handhelds that we have so far, and I think it's all going to depend on the price. Are you guys picking one up? Are you curious about the Pocket Air? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any gaming news, and as always, thanks for watching.